From beggar to businessman, the flower. The flower that changed everything. Hey there. Before I dive into this story, just a quick note. I see so many of you enjoying my content, and that truly means the world to me. If you haven't subscribed yet, it's absolutely free, and it helps me keep sharing stories that inspire. Hit that button, and thank you for being here. Now let me tell you a story you won't forget. At a busy train station in a large American city, there was a homeless man who lived by asking strangers for spare change. Every day he wandered between platforms and train cars, hand outstretched, surviving on the kindness of travelers passing through. One afternoon, he noticed a man stepping off the train, tall, sharp in a tailored suit, radiating success. The homeless man thought to himself, "He looks rich. Maybe today's my lucky day." He approached him and said quietly, "Sir, could you spare some change?" The man paused, looked at him in the eye, and said something unexpected. "You always ask people to give you something, but have you ever given anything to anyone?" The homeless man was caught off guard. "Sir, I'm just a beggar. I have nothing. How can I give anything to anyone?" The man nodded slightly and with calm confidence replied, "Then maybe that's why you never receive enough. I'm a businessman. I believe in fair exchange, give and take. If you have something to offer me, then I'll have something to offer you." Then, without another word, he stepped back on the train and disappeared. The man stood there, stunned. Those words, they stuck with him like a splinter in his mind. I have nothing, but is that really true? For 2 days, he thought deeply. What could someone like me possibly give? He had no money, no home, nothing people would want. On the third day, while sitting by the tracks, he noticed something beautiful. A small patch of wildflowers blooming near the fence. They were bright, colorful, hopeful. And then it hit him. Maybe I can give these. He picked a few and tucked them gently into his worn jacket. That day, when he asked for change, he did something new. Each person who gave him a coin or a bill, he handed back a flower, saying softly, "Thank you, this is for you." At first, people were surprised. Then they smiled. Many kept the flowers, pressing them into their books or bags. And slowly, something shifted. More people began giving. They weren't just giving out of pity, they were part of an exchange. It felt different. Every morning after that, he picked fresh flowers and offered them in return for kindness. When he had flowers, people gave. When he didn't, not so much. One day, as fate would have it, the same businessman boarded the train again. The homeless man hurried to him, holding out a small bouquet. "Today, I have something to give you," he said proudly. "If you'd be willing, I'd be grateful for anything in return." The man smiled, reached into his wallet and jewel and handed him a generous bill. He took the flowers, inhaled their scent, and said, "You've become a businessman just like me." The words hit differently this time. They felt like truth. As the train pulled away, the man looked up at the sky and whispered to himself, "I'm not a beggar anymore. I'm in business." People nearby stared, confused by his joy. But he didn't care, because he believed it now. 6 months passed. At that same station, 2 well-dressed men waited for the train. One of them looked at the other and said, "You probably don't recognize me, do you?" The second man shook his head. "Sorry, I don't think we've met." The first man smiled and said, "We met twice. Once when you refused to give me anything, and the second time when I gave you a flower." The second man's eyes widened in surprise. "Wait, you were the guy on the platform, the one who gave out flowers?" "Yep," the first man replied. "Back then I was homeless. Today I own a flower shop. Actually, I just opened a second location downtown." The businessman blinked. "You're serious?" Dead serious, he said, chuckling. You taught me something I'll never forget. We only receive when we give. Once I understood that, my life changed. I wasn't just asking anymore. I was offering something of value. And you know what? People didn't give me money. They paid for the joy I handed them in a flower. The two men shook hands as the train arrived, their faces lit up with understanding. This isn't just a story about flowers or money or business. It's about mindset. We often limit ourselves by how we see ourselves. That homeless man didn't change his life by getting lucky. He changed it by seeing himself differently, not as a beggar, but as someone who had something to give. And so do you. Whether it's a smile, your time, your talent, or a wildflower growing beside the tracks, you always have something to offer. And the moment you begin to give, something magical happens. The world gives back. No dream is too big. No situation is too hopeless. You're not waiting for a miracle. You are the miracle. Believe in what you can give, and you'll be amazed at what comes back.